Hi guys and welcome back. What if I told you everything you need for a one-night overnight camp in the moors fits in this 28 litre rucksack with room to spare? Would you believe me? Let's find out. So with the weather as nice as it is at the moment, it's the perfect opportunity to go out and enjoy the great outdoors with a slightly lighter pack. There are loads of benefits to carrying a lighter pack and carrying not quite as much, but there are also some reasons not to as well. And we're going to cover those before we get into what's in the bag. So first we're going to look at the pros, and there's a lot of pros to carrying a lighter weight bag. The first pro is obviously the pack size. This is a much smaller bag, which means it's a lot lighter as well. You're still getting all the essentials you need, but in a much smaller package. Carrying a lighter bag or a smaller bag means you can go a bit further. It won't weigh as much, you'll move a bit faster. It gives you an opportunity to explore slightly different areas you might not be able to anyway. It also means if you struggle carrying a heavier pack, it doesn't sort of limit you to not being able to go out and enjoy the great outdoors and enjoy wild camping. If you struggle with a heavy pack, then it could be that you build a lighter weight pack system like this one here, and you can still go out and enjoy yourself. And now it's time for the cons. Now there aren't many cons, but there are a few things to consider. But one is safety. So when you're building a lighter weight pack like this, you are going to sacrifice a few of the luxuries, but also some of the essentials as well. In this pack here, we're very much aiming it toward the weather we're having at the moment, nice and warm, where loads and loads of layers aren't a necessity. However, if you're not going to carry loads of layers and you got into a situation where you were injured or needed some help and you had to wait in one position for a long period of time, you might not have quite enough in this pack. So a little sort of subdivision is obviously safety and making sure that you make yourself safe. And that could be making sure that a loved one knows exactly where you're going, they know your exact route. Carrying a second phone, which you keep off in your bag so it doesn't run out of battery just in case of an emergency, or maybe not venturing quite as far off the beaten track and into the sort of the heart of the moors or wherever you're going. This way you're easier to get to, you haven't got as far to get out if you need to. Another little thing would be to plan to escape routes. So look at your route and have a little idea of where you could get off of your walk if you need to, if you're injured or you didn't want to continue. It's always good to do with any walk, but essentially when you're carrying a lightweight pack that might not have everything you need to stay 100% safe in the event of an emergency, it's worthwhile doing. Another con is luxury, or comfort probably is a better option. What we've built here should provide you with some luxury and some comfort, but it's not going to be as nice as if you were travelling with a sort of heavier pack. We've decided to go for a few things that if you were going for an ultralight pack you probably wouldn't carry. So for example, we've got a tent on the side of the bag here. You might look at carrying a tarp instead, and obviously that's not going to be quite as nice a sleeping experience as potentially having a tent where you keep all your gear, you're out of the wind 100%, and you've got a nice shelter to put up, especially in the case of an emergency. Other things are things like mats and stuff and sleeping bags. Because they are so much smaller and lighter, they're maybe not going to keep you as warm, and also you're going to have to leave your favourite pillow at home, unfortunately. So now we've got that out of the way, let's have a chat about the pack itself and also all the contents inside. What we've tried to do here is build a lightweight pack that doesn't substitute too much comfort, but still means your pack is going to be smaller and lighter for a day out. We're looking at sort of a 1 to 2 night trip. In this bag at the moment is a 1 night trip, so enough food for 1 night. But like I said, there is quite a bit of room to spare. This has actually got a roll top system on it, so we can expand this bag up a little bit further. And you can see there is quite a lot of extra room in there that we haven't decided to use. So there is potential to make this into a 2-night pack, but for this video we're going to look at this as a 1-night pack. So let's start from the outside and we'll move our way in a second. The first thing we've got is the bag itself. This is the Rab Aeon Ultra, so it's a really nice and lightweight pack. We're going to keep the weights above the products for you just so you can see them and sort of tally along as you go. This is a really awesome pack. For a small bag, it's got a really good suspension system, so even if you were carrying a little bit of extra weight, because obviously ultralight kit does cost a bit more money, so there is the option to buy slightly heavier kit that still packs down to a good size and you can still use this pack. It's got a really good suspension system like I just mentioned, really good shoulder straps, so it's going to be nice to carry that weight, especially over long distances. There's also some really good pocket options. You've got one big stuff pocket on the front, 2 really nice elasticated bottle pockets on the side. We've got an Nalgene 1.5 ultralight in this side of the bag, and we've got our tent in this one, which we'll come to in just a minute. It's also got a roll top feature, and this bag is highly water resistant. All the inside seams are taped. I wouldn't say it's fully waterproof, but it's certainly getting very, very close. So what we'll do is we'll start from the outside and we'll move our way in. Like I said, we've got our Nalgene bottle over here, which is 1.5 litres, and it's made of that nice lightweight plastic there. This is perfect for measuring out your water for your food. We have got dry meals in here, which do need to have a very exact amount of water poured in. So you can see here we've got a really good scale of measurement on this bottle. It weighs very little. Again, weights are just going to be up here for you. And also it's a good capacity. So water is one thing that weighs a lot, and it's something that we haven't sort of added onto this pack yet. I would suggest filling this up, but not carrying any more. And then inside the pack, we're also going to have some, either you can carry a filter if you want to, or if you want to go a little bit lighter, you can carry purification tablets and fill up as you go. So that's our water system. We're going to put things on the floor once we're done with them. Now we're going to move on to our tent. It's easily accessible on the side of our pack. Let me just get this out for you. Brilliant. So this is our tent here, and I know, what an incredible pack size. So this is the Nordis TELEMARK 1 LW. LW stands for lightweight. This is a really awesome tent. It packs down, as you can see, to a really small size, and it weighs 830 grams. It really does weigh very little. I'm not going to go into too much detail because we have got another video on this by Nick, one of our buyers, and he'll chat you through it. So I'll link that just here for you, and you can head across and get a really in-depth description of this tent, how it works, what it looks like, and also about the other options available. Okay, now it's time to get to the good bit, what's inside the pack itself. So we'll start from the top and we'll move our way down. So reach in. First thing we're going to pull out is our food. So on top of what we've got here, you'd also be carrying your favourite snacks and things for the actual walk itself, but we haven't put those in here today, but we have got your evening meals. So for me, it's got to be the macaroni and cheese. Absolutely love it. It's 800 calories and it still weighs pretty much nothing. And then for breakfast the next morning, I've gone for the Very Berry muesli. Again, it's 800 calories, I'm going to keep going all day, and it weighs very little. Because these dry meals are so much lighter, it means the pack weighs a little bit less, obviously, but you still get your calories in there, which is really good. Next, we are greeted by sort of a warm layer to put on if we get chilly. Like I said, we're very much aiming at the conditions we're experiencing at the moment, so that 22 to 30 degree temperature range. So we haven't got lots of warm layers in here because I don't think they're necessary, but we've got something here if the wind gets up, or if when you sit down to cook your food at night, you need something just to pop over yourself to keep yourself warm. So we've gone for the Mountain Equipment Arrow jacket here. It's really nice, it packs down nice and small. It's not designed to pack into its own pocket, but it can pack into one of the sort of side pockets here. You can zip it up. It doesn't have a two-way zip, but it is absolutely possible. This is a really good little layer. It's very, very warm. It keeps the wind off a little bit as well, and you've got plenty of pockets to store stuff. So if you're pitching your tent and you just want to throw something on, loads of pockets for things like your pegs, your phone, your keys, and that kind of stuff. So really nice layer, and we'll do a little side video on this later on. Cool. Next we've got this little guy, and this is just the dry bag, and what this has got is all our essentials in it. So these are little things like hygiene, so toothbrush and toothpaste. Instead of carrying a full first aid kit, we're carrying sort of a boo-boo kit, so little things like plasters, blister plasters, a reflective blanket, things that we might need in an emergency or might just need after a long day's walking. But to keep the bag a little bit lighter, a little bit smaller, we've sort of toned our first aid kit down to fit inside here. We're also carrying water purification tablets, we mentioned earlier. You could also carry a filter if you wanted to. And we've also got our head torch in here, which we'll get out in just a second. A bit like a lucky dip. Cool, so next is the Montane Minimus. As you can see, this is a really nice small pack size. It weighs very little, weights are just up there, but still really good waterproof. Packs into its own pocket, so it has got a two-way zip on it, so we'll just untip that. Push it out. And we are met by the jacket. So this has still got a helmet compatible hood with a nice rigid visor here for you, so you can keep the rain off your face. It's got a fully adjustable hood by a toggle at the back. Still getting a lapel pocket here for you. And then the rest of the jacket is exactly what you see. It's very, very lightweight. It is just one layer, but all the seams are taped, so it's fully waterproof, and you still get your adjustment on your sort of the lower torso part and around the waist, which means you can get this to fit you really well. Got tape zips all the way down the front here. You've got your front adjustment points there as well. And then that's the inside of the jacket for you. This is a really nice option. It's not going to be the most breathable option in the world because obviously they've got to try and make it waterproof while still maintaining it light. But if you're going out on sort of a summer trip where it's not going to rain, or not necessarily going to rain, but you want to take something just to be safe, like I said at the start, thinking about maybe an emergency situation, this would be a really good option for you. It's also going to be really good at keeping the wind off if you get a slightly breezy night while you're cooking and stuff, you're feeling the cold. Brilliant. So now we're down to sort of the real essentials, and that is a cook system here for our dry meals. Obviously we've got our water, we've got our dry meals, we need something to cook them with. Here in my hand I've chosen the CRUX pot set from Optimus. This is quite new to Taunton Leisure. It's something we haven't had in the past, but it's a really nice option and I'm slowly falling in love with it. So if you just move the bag so we can get this up on here. It comes with a really nice carry case just to keep everything nice inside. And what we are met by initially is a heat exchange pot. As you can see, it's got a heat exchanger on the bottom, some nice silicone covered handles, so it's nice and easy to handle once it gets hot. And then we've got another sort of pan on top. It's not very big, but it might be good for boiling a small amount of water for a cup of tea or something, but it acts as a really good lid on it. Within this, we have both our stove and our gas canister, which is this bit here. So obviously this bit's the gas canister, and then you can see this little elasticated pouch on the top. Ping that off, pop that to one side, and we're met by our stove just there, and this sort of pings up into place and goes like that. Really nice option. It's nice and lightweight. It fits in a very small space. Like I said, it fits in the bottom of there, and that entire unit fits inside here. So it's a nice all-in-one system there for anyone looking for compact all-in-one solution, but they want the versatility of having sort of a standalone stove, so not like your jet balls and stuff, so that you can use with any pot you fancy. But I highly recommend the heat exchange one that they give you in the set. We're going to go into this in more detail in a future video. It's going to be released in a couple of weeks' time, and Stu is going to talk you through the stove in detail, talk about the weights, the burn time, and we're also going to have some comparisons of the heat exchange pot against the titanium mug as well. This is an area where you could potentially save some more weight. Like I said, you could go for a titanium mug, you're going to save a pretty good amount of weight there, but we're trying to make it nice and enjoyable as well, and obviously this is going to boil a lot quicker, so it's going to be more efficient in terms of using gas than a titanium mug. So things you can change in this, absolutely. There's definitely improvements to be made, but it's a really good start for anyone looking for a lightweight solution. So pop our stove back on the bottom of here, pull our elasticated tab round, neat up, pop it back in. I can put it in upside down, it fits nicely in there, and the lid can still go on. And then pop that to one side. Brilliant. And finally, we've got our sleep system. So this is a little area where it normally basically makes up the most of your pack. I'm sure a lot of you know that your sleeping bag and your roll mat tend to take up most of the space in your bag. They can be quite bulky items, especially if you're using them in the winter. But in summer, we get the option to sort of lighten things down a little bit, and we can make things really nice and small. So what we'll do is we've got a roll mat over here, we've got our sleeping bag right in front of me. We'll start with this one. This is the Spark 2. You've also got the option to Spark 1 and the Spark 0. But I think for the UK, this is going to be the most versatile option for you. It's got really good ratings, so this is an 850 fill down bag. It packs down to a really nice small size and weighs very little. Like I said, you can go down if you wanted to. The reason we've gone for the Spark 2 is because of the temperature ratings on this bag, which we'll also put up here. You can use this sort of all year round in the UK, which is nice. The Spark 1 and Spark 0, you're probably pushing it if you want to use it in winter. And I think with the Spark 0, it's looking at a comfort rating of 14 degrees, so you might even be pushing it in some situations in the summer. Obviously, we're experiencing really nice weather at the moment, but in the summer in the UK, as we all know, it can still be chilly. So I think the Spark 2 is a slightly safer option if you want a really good pack size still, but have that extra warmth. So that's our sleeping bag. And then we're to our roll mat, which is absolutely insane. I can't quite believe that a full roll mat fits into this tiny little pouch here and weighs just this much. This is the Neo Air UBERLITE. It's the lightest mat that ThermaRest have ever made within the Neo Air range. Just grab it out here for you. So you're still getting all the nice things you'd expect from a ThermaRest. Good lifetime warranty. You're also getting the new Windlock system on here, which means there's no chance this is going to leak through the valve at all. Got two locking systems here, and you're also getting a really good R-belly, which will pop up here. So this roll mat will keep you certainly through summer, certainly through spring. Winter and autumn you might find it's a little bit cold for sleeping out in, but if you paired that with a really good sleeping bag, you'd probably get away with it. And look at the size of it, you really can't argue with something as small as that. So as promised, I've come back with the head torch here. We just grabbed out of our little sort of bits and bobs bag, and here we have the ICO Core. That's my pick for sort of a really nice lightweight head torch that's really usable and sort of versatile as well. This weighs just 79 grams. It really weighs absolutely nothing, but has a lot of different purposes. Obviously, the obvious one is a head torch, so you can wear it on your head, you can wear it around your neck if you don't want to have it up here. You can also fold it down, pop it in its little bag it comes with, and hang it in your tent. and that bag acts as a diffuser, and it creates a nice ambient light within your tent, so you can sort of read your book under it, or sort of get yourself sorted without having to have that head torch on your head with a directional light. You can just have a nice wide beam across the tent, which I think is just a really nice option. It makes this head torch a lot more versatile, and it's extremely comfortable because it hasn't got that sort of elasticated band system. It sits on your head really comfy, and it can be used for a long period of time without you, probably, to be honest, you're going to forget the fact you're wearing this. It comes with a rechargeable ICO core battery, but in a pinch you can replace it with the AAAs. I'd recommend taking a few with you. This should be absolutely fine for one night, but it's always worth taking something a little bit extra. Again, this comes back to that safety aspect. You don't have to carry extra batteries, but it's worthwhile doing. You might ask why you carry a head torch in sort of the middle of summer in the UK when it's sort of still light at around 9 o'clock, 8:30. I just think it's really worthwhile having, if you need to get up in the night, use the bathroom, or if you need to sort of get yourself sorted and it's getting towards dusk, it'd be a real shame not to have it. And for something that weighs as little as this, it's a bit of a no-brainer for me. So that would definitely be going in my pack. Here we have absolutely everything I just got out of that bag except for the tent, which is just down the floor here next to me. I think for the most part, other than a few extra snacks and stuff, this is basically everything I would be carrying for a short one-night trip. Like I said, there's the option there to upgrade a few things to a 2-night option, so get some extra food, some extra snacks. You could potentially carry a bit more water, but like I said, this is very much making up the heavier portion of your bag, so I would really sort of urge people to fill up as they go rather than carry all of that water with them the entire way. It's certainly going to help keep the weight of your pack down, and purification taps are really good now. If you get chlorine dioxide, it doesn't have that horrible taste we're all know very well from a chlorine tablet. Or you can carry a filter. It's a little bit quicker as well that way. You just force water through the filter. They make some really good ones nowadays that are nice and simple to use and are relatively cost effective. They also don't weigh a huge amount. So like I said at the start of the video, this is sort of my interpretation of what I would be carrying on a sort of one-night trip where I want to carry as little as possible. Like I said, everything can be interchanged and swapped depending on your budget and also what you want to use it for. Like I say with a sleeping bag, some items here aren't going to be great for other seasons. So if you don't want one jacket for one season and another for the other, you might need to swap that out for a slightly heavier option or a slightly bulkier option. Or if you don't want to spend as much money as some of these items, you can obviously cheapen them up. They might get a bit bigger, but I think 28 litres is a really good size to try and get your kit into. It's going to help keep you nice and lightweight. It's going to help keep you mobile, and it's also going to improve your experience. Like I said, there are some people out there that might not be able to carry a really heavy pack anymore, and going for something like this allows them to still get out on the moors, which is really awesome. If you've got any questions, leave them down in the comment section. We'd also like to hear any of your tips for keeping ultralight, or anything you think we might have missed in this video. As always, we really appreciate all your support. If you could like, subscribe and follow us, that'd be awesome. We've got a video about the ICO core also on our channel at the moment, so if you like that head torch and want to hear a bit more, that'd be a really awesome video to watch. But until next time, we'll see you soon.